Welcome to DarkLoreTube, where the darkest stories come to life. The ninth story. The cost of feeling safe. When I was a small child, I was terrified of the dark. I still am. But back when I was around 6 years old, I couldn't go a full night without crying out for one of my parents to search beneath my bed or in my closet for whatever presence I thought was waiting for me. Even with a nightlight, I would still see dark shapes moving around the corners of the room, or strange faces looking in on me from my bedroom window. My parents would do their best to console me, telling me that it was just a bad dream or a trick of the light. But in my young mind, I was certain that the second I fell asleep, something bad would find me most of the time. I would hide under the blankets until I became tired enough to stop worrying. But every now and then, I would become so overwhelmed that I would run screaming into my parents' room, waking up my brother and sister in the process. After nights like that, no one got any real rest. Eventually, after one particularly difficult night, my parents had had enough. They understood that reasoning with a 6-year-old would not work, so they had to be clever. It was my mother's idea to create my little bedtime companion. She collected a large assortment of random pieces of fabric and used her sewing machine to create what I would later call Mr. Ickbar Bigglestein, or Ick for short. Ick was a sock monster, as my mother described him, made to keep me safe while I slept at night by scaring away all the other things. He looked unsettling. Even now, I can admit that. Ickbar had the stitched-together look of something unusual. With big white button eyes and floppy ears, his small arms and legs were made from a pair of my sister's black and white striped socks, and part of his face, which was green, came from one of my brother's tall football socks. His head was oddly shaped, and his mouth was a wide zigzag grin made from white fabric. I loved him immediately. From then on, Ick never left my side, as long as it was after dusk. He didn't like the sun, and would seem upset if I tried to bring him outside. But that was fine. I only needed him at night, every night at bedtime. Ick would tell me where things were hiding, and I would place him near that part of the room. If something was in the closet, Ick would guard the door. If something was near the window, Ick would be pressed against the glass. If something was under the bed, then under the bed he went. Sometimes. The fear wasn't even in my room. Sometimes it followed me into my dreams, and Ick would come with me in my dreams. He could speak. "How much do you love me?" he would ask. More than anything, I would always reply. One night, after I'd lost my first tooth, Ick asked me something new. "Can I have your tooth?" I asked him why. "To help me stop the bad things," he said. The next morning, my mom asked where my tooth had gone. She said the tooth fairy hadn't found it under my pillow. When I told her I gave it to Ickbar, she simply shrugged. From then on, every time I lost a tooth, I gave it to him. He always thanked me and told me he loved me eventually. I ran out of baby teeth. I was getting older, too old to keep playing with something like that. So Ick sat on my bookshelf, collecting dust, slowly fading from my attention. But the nightmares, they didn't fade. They got worse, so bad that they began to follow me into waking life, into dark corners, into quiet movements in the night. One evening, after a particularly unsettling ride home, where I felt like something was chasing me, I returned to my room and saw him standing upright on my bed. In the faint glow of moonlight, at first I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me again. So I tried to turn on the lights. Once, twice again. Nothing changed. The room stayed dark. That's when I began to feel afraid. In a different way, I slowly backed toward the door, never taking my eyes off his shape. Reaching behind me for the handle, just as I was about to leave, the door shut on its own. I stood frozen, in silence, not even breathing. Then I heard the voice again. "You stopped feeding me? So why should I protect you?" "Protect me from what?" I asked. "Let me show you." In an instant, everything changed. I was no longer in my room, but somewhere else. A place that felt wrong, unnatural, endless. The air was thick, the ground alive with movement, shadows shifting everywhere. A strange fog filled the space, carrying an unbearable smell, while flashes of greenish light streaked across the sky. In the distance, something was making a sound that didn't belong to anything human. My head pounded. My eyes filled with tears. Then his voice returned. "This is what your reality becomes without me." Something was approaching. Fast. I am the only one who can stop it. It was right behind me now. Close. Overwhelming. Bring me what I need, and I will. Then, I woke up the next day. I searched for more teeth, giving everything I could find to Ikbar. Almost immediately, the nightmares stopped. From time to time, I would quietly take what was meant for the tooth fairy, or find other ways to gather what he needed. Anything to keep the visions away. Over time, I began to notice something else. Ik would move. When I wasn't looking, the room would change, slightly, and he looked more real. His teeth seemed to shine. He felt warm to the touch, but I couldn't bring myself to get rid of him, because I knew exactly what waited without him, so I kept going. Through high school, through college, the older I became, the more I feared, and the more he required now. I am 22 years old. I have a job, my own apartment, and artificial teeth. It has been almost 1 month since I last gave him anything, and the darkness is returning. Tonight, I took a detour through a parking garage. I found someone alone, distracted. When I returned home, he was there on the ceiling. In the corner, 2 white eyes, and that same endless smile. "How much do you love me?" he asks. "More than anything," I reply. Removing my coat, "More than anything in the world."